I'm with Brandon Feisner, the director out here at the DecoTurf High School Tennis Championships, and I'm going to flip the camera around so y'all can see him. Hello, Brandon.
Hello.
So, talk to us. Y'all have 4 different brackets this year of teams, 4 different levels, and I was over at the Baylor School and watching some of your A bracket matches going on. But I'd love to talk about the kids in the C and D brackets. So let's talk about them a little bit.
It is. That's a very unique division because it is, as much as we talk about how the special side of this tournament is that you get a good mix of kind of elite top level players playing with just an average high school player that just plays high school tennis that may not regularly play USTA tournaments and things of that nature. That is the divisions that really highlight the diversity of the event more than anything. In the A division, you may have 4, 5, 6 kids easily that are all ranked in some form or fashion that are all playing USTA tournaments. To where you get to C, you're still going to have the top 1 or 2 players on every team are still going to be highly ranked players. I mean, you're still looking at 3, 4, even in some cases 5-star recruits for the top couple players. But then you've got the bottom half of the lineup are players that are just high school players that aren't playing USTA tournaments, certainly are not traveling playing nationwide and section-wide USTA tournaments consistently, but are still really strong players. And a lot of these we've seen over the years, a lot of these are players that are multi-sport athletes and stuff, that they may be a very good tennis player and stuff too, but their rating may not reflect it because they play half the year in basketball.
Sure.
Or we've seen a lot of them that are like soccer and basketball and various other sports, golf, variety of sports, and it's really fun to see that mix of you've got that top level talent still on the team, so it's still really fun dual matches to watch. And when the environment becomes really neat is when you have those top players have finished a match and here you've got them cheering on the sidelines for another player that may not have ever played a USTA tournament or anything, and suddenly the weight of the whole team match is on that player.
Wow. Yes.
And it's such a neat environment, and that's what makes everything so much fun about the event and stuff. And I tell the story, and it was an A division story, but I tell the story of back probably 5 years ago, I believe it was our last year in Louisville. We had a young lady that went on and beat a player significantly better than she was in her individual match. Player that was going on to play college tennis at Columbia and everything, was way better than she was ranking wise and everything, and walked off of the court crying after probably the biggest individual match she ever had because the team lost the dual match. And that's what the whole thing brings together, and whether it's that A division or whether it's the D division, and you have that team camaraderie and stuff, and it's unique to see, especially in the lower divisions, when you have high-level junior ranked players that are on the court right beside someone who may have never played a USTA junior tournament or anything ever.
Right.
And both matches count for 1 point in the duel.
Right.
One's not any more important than the other. And it makes it so much fun.
Yeah.
And that's when I reach out to everyone about the event and stuff, and they say, tell me the one thing that's different about this. Well, we hear junior tournaments all the time, or we hear, and I'm like, no, you don't see tournaments like this where you have that variety of, like, and I don't want to say a talent gap, because it's not the talent gap as much as it is just you have some that's what they want to do. They want to be traveling junior tennis, like they want to travel and play the national tournaments and do all that.
Sure.
And you have some that are content with playing just during the high school season.
Who are incredible athletes. Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of them are ones that may be dual sport athletes. They may play another. They may play 2 and 3 other sports.
Yeah.
And
because you can do that in sports
you
besides tennis.
You can.
And still achieve a very high level.
And you can see, I mean, you can tell a lot of times the athletes that do that come out here and truly are, they're good tennis players on the court and stuff, but it's not that they're great tennis players as much as they are great athletes.
Exactly.
And you can make up a lot of ground knowing a little bit of tennis when you're a really good athlete.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny because I recorded Roger Federer during the BNP Paribas, talking about that exact thing, that how important it is for kids to play multiple sports, and it was nice to hear him say that,
Yes.
the best we have ever. And I think this whole idea of focusing solely on tennis, at a young age, may not be serving our children as well as it should.
Yeah, and it is. We had a great example. You were at the tournament last weekend in Peachtree City. We had an example there where we had a young man that missed the team's match on Friday because he was playing on the basketball team that was playing for the basketball state championship for his school that night.
Wow.
And then Saturday morning, he come back and got to play his first match in that event and stuff with the team and stuff because he had been still in basketball season. And how neat of an atmosphere that would be to go from winning a state championship one night and stuff to coming back the next day and then competing for the first time and stuff with the tennis team and stuff. And that's what's so neat about these events is you've got that huge mix of those players, and we use the 9-point format so that all the matches count the same, whether you're a 3 doubles, whether you're 6 singles, whether you're 1 doubles or 1 it's all the same.
Right. Which I messed up this morning when I was explaining the format. I had it all wrong. So I corrected it, though, later. So for those of you who listened to my earlier video, just scratch what I said.
And we had went back and forth. I mean, we had, for a few years, we had looked at doing, and we did for a few years, the 7-point format like Division I does. And we had a lot of coaches tell us that the importance of, especially the doubles matches, they wanted that emphasis on doubles matches and stuff and how important that was. And you do see, I mean, doubles tennis is kind of a dying thing. And there's not that focus on it. So that 9-point format goes from, if you're a team that a big emphasis of what you do is training for doubles tennis and stuff, suddenly you can have a 3-0 lead in a match, and that's a lot more overwhelming than a 1-0 lead in a match. And then you only need 2 singles wins and you've clinched a match. It really just drastically changes the whole outlook of how you play a match and everything.
Sure. So today y'all were playing singles first. Is that because of the rain?
It depends on what we do. Is we will stack the matches to where our first match of the day, and we do this for court space. And I used to go, oh no, we have to play doubles first because that's the way it's done. That's okay. And we got to looking at the schedule, and I was like, well, why am I going to play doubles at 9 o'clock and leave 3 courts sitting open?
Yeah.
And so we stack them to where we'll play singles first at 9 a.m. And then when the doubles for that 9 a.m. match go on at about 10:30, give or take, the doubles for the next match can start at the same time.
Oh, very
And then
clever.
it rolls right into singles. So we're never leaving courts sit empty. And it allows us to get a lot more matches in than we would have gotten otherwise. I mean, in the time that otherwise 2 duels would have taken, for those 6 courts, would have taken approximately, give or take, 5.5, 6 hours possibly. We can finish 2 full duels in a little over 4.5 hours.
Yeah, that makes a huge
yes, it
difference.
really helps.
So how many teams do y'all have this year?
We have 68 total.
And how many facilities are you using?
We are at 4 facilities for about 95% of the tournament. We have 1 match today at a 5th facility, and then we use the 5th facility for just 3 rounds tomorrow.
Okay.
So, and we try to keep everyone as together as we can, keep teams at the same sites and stuff.
And I noticed that you try and put the boys and girls teams, if a school brings both, you'll try to keep them together.
We try as much as we can.
Yeah, which is nice because they cheer each other on.
Yes, that's one of, I mean, some of the favorite pictures and everything else we've ever gotten are when you have like the girls team playing and you've got the boys teams have pulled up all the benches and everything else and they're sitting there watching the match anxiously. And it makes it a lot of fun when you get that full school atmosphere and stuff. And that's what, when 3 years ago when we first switched for the first time and did it as boys and girls on the same weekend, it used to always be like boys one weekend, girls another.
You did this twice?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're crazy.
Yes. And we switched and did boys and girls. The beauty of that was you only had like 30 teams at a time.
Sure, but
but when we switched and went to boys and girls on the same weekend, it was such a different event.
Yeah.
Because especially with the schools, because you have a lot of schools that only want to come if boys and girls can come together. And you get that camaraderie of, and even if it's not there for every match, it's in the hotel together and it's out to eat together and it's going to attraction. and some of the pictures and stuff that we've already seen on Instagram and things of teams going out and experiencing the city and stuff. It's been really neat to see that side of things.
What is your range of UTRs at the event this year? Do you know?
We have everything from our highest level is this year is I want to say a 12-5 range, I believe, maybe pushing a 13, all the way down to players that, I mean, literally are not even in the UTR system, do not have a rating.
Yeah. But because they haven't played tournaments.
Because they haven't played tournaments
Right.
in that. And you see the teams that have participated in this event in the past and gotten UTR credit for matches and stuff, a lot of the UTR values for those players and teams overall are more reliable and everything, because you know that there's a consistent true UTR rating for every player.
Sure.
And that's where, when you look at like the D division, a great example is we have a team in our D division this year that is ranked second in the state of North Carolina in their largest class in 4A in boys tennis, but there's a team that's ranked third in North Carolina's class that's in our A division.
Huh.
And I was like, when I saw those rankings come out, I was like, whoa, that's not right. But when we do this event, we use a Power 6 UTR rating, like what college tennis does for a lot of things, because that's the only reliable way for us to compare everyone
Sure.
on a national scale. And when you have a team, this team from North Carolina, he said a lot of his seniors hadn't played tournament tennis in 2 or 3 years. So they could legitimately be first, second best team in the state of North Carolina.
Right.
But because those UTR results and stuff are not in there, from having tournament play, they're in the D division.
Got it.
When they could reliably be in the A.
Were they okay with that?
Yes, he was. And a lot of it is the coaches want to come and get the match experience, get the play experience. I mean, they want competitive matches, but there's a lot of them that just want the atmosphere, and a lot of them that don't mind from year to year being in a different division, because for one, it lets them see different teams that they wouldn't see any other time.
That's true. That is, yeah.
Even for teams that come back year to year, I mean, every year you've got, say, 50% or so of each field, give or take, is going to be the same at least
Right.
as the teams from the year before. And yeah, it's fun to have a rivalry. We had a rivalry kind of recently of Hinsdale Central out of Chicago area in Illinois and Spartanburg out of South Carolina, and I was like, and the two teams were not real friendly. I mean, they wanted to beat each other, but I was like, how neat is this that we got two schools that are hundreds of miles apart,
Right.
that would have no idea who each other ever were in any other way,
Right.
but through this event had developed that rivalry and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
And that's
So-
what makes it neat. But you get, when you're in a different division from year to year, then you're getting to see other teams
Right.
that you would not have otherwise gotten to see on your schedule.
Got it. So, how many states are represented this
We've
year?
got 13 states.
Come on.
Which is crazy.
Come on.
The crazy part is not the 13 states, it's trying to figure out the rules for the
Oh, yeah.
13 states.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about that last weekend, about how you have to follow the high school sports association or athletic association rules.
Yes, that may be the hardest part of this event compared to a normal, just a strict USDA junior
Yeah.
event or UTR event, is that we have to go by, or the event has to be sanctioned by through the National Federation of State High School Associations, which is just kind of the governing body overall of high school athletics. And in that case, we submit every state that is participating, so all 13 states that were participating, and each individual one of those states had to sign off. And a lot of those states have certain stipulations. Cannot play during school hours, cannot play on Sundays, cannot play a school that is not a member of another state association, cannot play,
Wow.
cannot receive T-shirts. One of the reasons we stopped doing T-shirts 2 years ago is because some states have rules that players cannot receive
A gift?
apparel of, they could receive a bag tag or something that's a commemorative type. They cannot receive apparel in any way. So
Okay.
there's a ton of
I don't even pretend to understand the logic.
a ton of rules about who and when and where and all that they can play, and it can make scheduling and things a bit of a headache at
I would
times.
say. So tell me some of the states that are represented, or can you rattle off all 13?
I could give you most of them. We've
Okay.
got Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Illinois, and who is my one other state? West Virginia.
Wow, impressive.
So, and a lot of them we've had teams from on a consistent year-to-year basis. We love to get teams for the first time from a state.
Sure.
Because then, I mean, it really does. They go back and all of a sudden, because a lot of times it is a higher level team in a state. Well, even in the D division, we've got, like I was looking a minute ago to see in our program here, like our girls.
Well, let's show off the program.
Our girls
Hold it up.
here's our tournament
Yeah,
program that
love
has, I mean, everything, rosters, brackets, everything in it. A lot of hours go into that program.
Yes, I know about that.
But like our girls C division has a pair of really strong teams in the state of Georgia that went to at least the quarterfinals or further. The D division has a state finalist from Alabama in their 4A, 5A division in Briarwood Christian's girls. And you go to the boys C and D, and like the boys C has 3 defending state champions.
Wow.
One from Georgia, one from Missouri, and one from Kentucky. And then the boys D has a defending state finalist, another state semifinalist and stuff. So you're still talking about teams that are competing for a state championship
Right.
every year.
Wow.
And that's, a lot of people see this and they're like, oh, they're in the D. That does not mean that
That they're no good.
they're no
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Apparently
that just
not.
fortunately means that, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, that there are that many other schools that just happen to be stronger this year than what they are on paper. And that's the trick, is to doing this event. And UTR has been helpful in it has given us kind of a nationwide, something to at least compare people to.
Sure.
Nationwide. And in the past we tried USDA rankings. Before that we tried tennis recruiting and going by like we had this crazy algorithm of their ranking in their class. So if they were like ranked 100th in their class, but they were a junior, we like did 100 times 0.75 or something, and that
Oh my
gave us a
goodness.
rating. And we had to do that for every player in the event. And that, so UTR, when UTR come around and we started kind of adopting that, gave us an opportunity to reduce a little bit of that crazy extra
Sure.
figuring.
Sure.
And it's been really reliable.
Good.
As far as we have consistently got teams in the correct division. We do have a lot of really competitive matches and stuff.
Yeah.
Once you get past the first round, it's very rare to start seeing matches that are, I mean, everything almost will be 5-2, 4-3. Like it'll be, or in the 5-4, 6-3, stuff like it will be very competitive type matches
Yeah.
and stuff. And that's what makes it so fun, and that's why the teams come here. Is a lot of these teams will be. The team I was talking about earlier, Cardinal Gibbons, came 4 years ago. They had won 52 straight matches, I think, in North Carolina.
Wow.
Over like a 3-4 year period, something like that. And came to this event and lost their first 2 matches. So it really gives you kind of that measuring stick of, yeah, we may be really good for a North Carolina team, but when you go on the national scale,
Yeah.
all of a sudden that may totally change.
Well, and it's interesting because Tim said something last night, about, well, you may think your kid is really good, and I think parents struggle with this fact that, when your kid's playing locally and winning matches and winning tournaments, and then you go outside your local area and see the bigger pool of talent, it's a big eye-opener, and I think it's an important one to go through as part of the process, right?
Yes, and not only parents, coaches.
Yes.
Like in this, we do as much with that as any. Like, and you'll hear that of, well, why did we get selected for the C division? I'm like, well, because when we do, and this year we did a 12-team A division, 8 and 8 going down the divisions. But I was like, well, this year there were 20 other teams that when we added their top 6 UTRs together had a higher rating than what your team did. I can't tell you that your team can't go out there against any one of those 20, whether it's the best or the first or the 20th,
Right.
and not beat them on the court head-to-head.
Right.
But
But you have to measure
the
with
only way
something.
that we have to measure them is that UTR rating and
Right.
stuff. And it's been like I said, a reliable measure for us as far as getting teams in good competitive divisions and stuff, and that's what the teams want. I mean, we're here to play tennis, to get the good experience for the players, and to get competition that they may not get the whole rest of the year.
Right.
Even through the state finals in some of these teams.
Yeah, sure. Well, the match I watched this morning was from the A division, and it was a girls' match, and they split the singles. And so then they went to the doubles, and the one team ended up winning.
And I mean,
3 of the doubles.
The singles first is got its pluses and minuses. Like at some points you get to where maybe a match may be clinched or something, and it's not as. But when you get one where they split the singles, boy, that doubles becomes 10 times more important than it ever would have been if it was played first.
Absolutely, yeah. It was fun to watch. I mean, it really came down to the wire, and everybody was on pins and needles, and I was sitting next to some parents, and you think watching your kid play a junior match is stressful. It is no easier when they're playing for their high school team.
I was going to say, because all of a sudden you got 6, 7, 8, 10 other whatever players that depend on what your son or daughter's going to do.
That's exactly right.
It's so much different than what that whole feel of
being out there by yourself.
Like I said, to see a player that's been one of the most lasting images I've ever had, was to see that player that got one of the biggest probably wins of her high school career, maybe even total junior career, to walk off the court crying because the team lost the duel.
Yeah.
And
Speaks
that
volumes,
to me showed what the event was all about.
Yeah.
I mean, to have the team mean that much.
Right. And that's what you want.
Exactly, yes, that's why we do it.
All right, so what's coming for next year? What do we have to look
Oh,
forward
my
to?
goodness. Well, it won't be more than 68 teams.
Okay.
We are looking to, like I said, in Peachtree City, we're looking to try to find a way to do some different unique events in different areas. If someone has an area that is looking for an event like this, I mean, I've talked to a few coaches that we have at this event and stuff, that whether it be Oklahoma City or Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that are all like, hey, come do events here. And we want somewhere that's for one, I love a kind of a city that has a unique feel and stuff to it. I mean, I love Chattanooga.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, oh, you're from Chattanooga. No, I'm from Louisville, 400 miles away or whatever. I just love this city ever since we come down here and stuff, and it provides such an opportunity for the players to have a good time while they're here. There's a lot of attractions and stuff that are close by to do.
And we're all staying downtown.
And a lot of teams are staying down. And even the ones that aren't downtown, there's malls, there's restaurants, there's every area that we have teams staying. There's so much to do.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing is I'll spend the next month or two. Well, I'll spend the next week trying to recover. I still have one more event this week in mid-April up in Louisville.
Wow.
We do an event called the Derby City High School Tennis Championships that is a flighted individual tournament. It's still a team event that will award a team champion and everything. Okay. But we do like a 3 singles, 2 doubles flights.
Cool.
And that's fun. We did the tournament in Peachtree City where it was a 3 singles, 2 doubles team duel.
Yeah.
We had this event that's got the 6-3 college format that's a duel, and then we do that flighted event. So it's also neat to see teams that play in 2 or 3 of these events that may finish drastically different depending on what the format is and stuff. So a lot of it is just then spending the next month or two seeing what that interest is. We had talked about trying to do an event this year, possibly at the National Tennis Center in Orlando. There is huge interest from USDA in trying to get a high school event on the campus down there and stuff.
Good.
So I'm hoping we can try to make something like that happen. But just encourage anyone that would be interested in doing anything to reach out to me. We've got a website, hstennischampionships.com.
And they can contact you through the site?
They can contact me through the site,
Okay,
or
good.
my email is it's hstennischampionships@gmail.com.
Okay, easy.
And just reach out to me if you've got a site, a city that wants to do this. The biggest thing we ask is have a site that can host it, and if it's a school, that we have to have a school involved if it's going to be a high school event, and have a school that is willing to help us get some volunteers to make it feasible to run it. I mean,
Absolutely.
One site is a whole lot easier than running 4 here.
Yes.
But we've gotten to where we make it easy enough that anyone can do it. I mean, we have volunteers that have never volunteered for us before that showed up and run a site this morning even with weather delays.
I mean, it's tennis. You can pick it up. It's not that difficult. Whatever.
So yeah, we definitely want to try to expand as much as we can. I mean, we had 118 teams apply for this event this year.
Wow.
The hardest thing for me has always been saying no.
Yeah.
I've always let way more teams in than I wanted to. This year I had said, last year we had 80, and I said, we're never doing 80 again. I can't do it. If it rains, no one's going to get any matches. Everyone's going to hate me.
Yeah.
Then it rained.
Yeah.
And we still got everything done.
Yeah.
But this year I said we were originally going to cut back to 64.
Okay.
And we got all the submissions in. I was like, I got 118 submissions. I can't just choose 64 teams. So I went with 72 initially. I at least got 8 more teams in.
Okay.
And we got to where we had 4 teams that at some point throughout the process had to drop out. And I was like, okay, we're at 68. That's a nice round number. We're stopped.
Yeah. Good. Good. What's the minimum number of teams if somebody
You know,
wanted to
I
host
mean,
an
I've
event?
done events with, like the event in Peachtree City was 5 boys and 5 girls. So it was 10 total teams. I mean, obviously I like to get to like an 8,
Yeah.
a group of 8, just because for the sake of everything it makes it a little easier and stuff. But an 8, a 12, a 16, any of that. It does not have to be a huge tournament, and if it needs to be something or wants to be something that they want to kind of run themselves and stuff, I'm willing to help kind of from a distance and help people figure it out, or come run it a year and show them how and let them run, because I want to see it continue to grow and there be more events. One of my favorite things is when a coach has come to this event and then goes back home and start something similar when they've heard about this event through someone and start something similar, and seeing those events and how they grow and how these other high school events and stuff do. I try to follow as many of them as I can to know not only the top teams, so I can try to get them here to this event, but also to know what's working well at other events.
Sure.
What's not working well. What's just to get a feel of that whole landscape of is there an event that was there that something happened and they're gone now, and there's that kind of void that needs to be filled.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing is just watching that. And like I said, if anyone would be interested, reach out, because we definitely want to try to get events to as many areas of the country. And I laughed last year. I was like, well, we can just do like a DecoTurf Southeast Regional, a DecoTurf Northeast
Why
Regional.
not? Why not?
But yeah, we're definitely interested and invite anyone to reach out to us. And it's once you've seen it once,
let me
it's
just
an awesome
pan around here. We got some matches going on behind
awesome
us.
environment.
And it's a gorgeous day. And I don't know. I told somebody you're living right, Brandon. Because
the weather, I don't know.
The weather forecast was not good.
My
today.
wife tells everyone downstairs that I've apparently sold my soul to the devil to get good weather.
I mean, whatever it takes.
And it appears that way, because 2 weekends in a row,
That's right.
I've gotten really lucky. But yeah, it's one of those things. And this morning, it's always a little hectic when you have rain in any kind of tournament, especially it's primarily outdoors. And I told people, I said, just the coaches, the volunteers, everyone, I said, just relax. Once we get playing, it all works itself out.
Yeah. Well, you're a calming force, that's for sure. My battery, I'm getting the flashy thing that I'm on low power, whatever. So, any last words you want to share with everybody?
Just keep promoting high school tennis, especially if you're someone that either plays it, coaches it, loves it, a parent, whatever. Keep promoting high school tennis, because the future is bright. I mean, I did talk to some folks at UTR the other day about some things they are continuing to work on. The future is bright for high school tennis. Just help us promote it and stuff. Get out, watch matches, help us get events and stuff places, and we're going to make a difference.
And you're always looking for sponsors, right?
Always looking for sponsors.
Yeah, let's not.
Like I said, this is an event that's 679 players, I think, total that registered this year. So you don't find many other events in the country that have 679 players.
In your book?
In the book, I don't, but we've got a banner that I can get you a copy of. I mean, I can name off a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
I took a picture of your banner.
Obviously, our biggest two, DecoTurf and Icy Hot. PlaySite jumped on board this year. Competition Athletic Services here in Chattanooga has been fantastic. National Scouting Board is on board. New Balance, that does the New Balance, they've jumped on and they've been phenomenal to work with. And it just goes down the line. Dunlop, everybody. We can't make it happen without all of them. That's the dollars that allow us to do the extra stuff like the players' party and things last night.
Sure.
That's what makes this type of event so much different than any other, even high school event. That's the extra stuff that we try to do. at these type of events.
So those of you watching, if you have a connection to a tennis company or anybody else that would be interested in sponsoring this event, reach out to Brandon through the website.
And
We'll
it's
take it.
hstennIschampionships.com.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank
Another
you.
great year.
Thanks.